Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be the disloyal woman. All's fair in love and war? Well, I've got an email from a guy. He's been following me for several years, and he wrote what is initially, it looks like a pretty good success story. He did a good job of following everything that's in 3% Man. Met a girl, follow everything textbook. He's been following me for about 4 years. And then about 3 years ago, he met his girlfriend, who is now his ex-girlfriend. He said they hung out, had fun, hooked up for 2 months. She brought up exclusivity. I mean, right around week 7, 8, which is just what the book says. Things seem to be going great. And if you've been watching me for a while or following me, you know that in 3% Man, and I've said this many, many, many times over the years, because I've done a lot of videos on cheating and lying and that kind of thing. And as I've said, is that you could be the best boyfriend, you could be the best husband that you can be, because that's really all you have control over. Those are the controllables, how you show up as a man. You could be the best dude, loyal, good boyfriend, but if you're with a liar and a cheater, given the right circumstances, she's going to cheat on you, and that's just the way it is. So part of the vetting process is trying to find out whether or not she's a good, trustworthy woman. Does she keep her word? Does she do the things that she says she's going to do? Is she loyal? Is she faithful? Does she act like she's in a relationship, or does she act like she's a single girl going out clubbing and partying and girls' weekends away with only girls and going and hanging out with only single girls and doing things like that a single girl would do even though she's in a relationship? All things that you just kind of want to look out for. What is she like? Well, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but something happened in this guy's relationship after 3 years. They were living together. I come to find out she wasn't being very faithful. So this email painfully illustrates what I talk about. It's like you could be the best dude in the world, best husband, best boyfriend, loyal, faithful, do everything right, follow the book. But if you're with somebody that doesn't value loyalty, they don't have the same value. It's sometimes you find out in the worst way, like this guy did. And I feel for him. It sucks. But at least it happened now instead of after he's married or after he has several kids and then finds out that half his kids aren't his. This is why you vet. And sometimes when you're in the vetting process, even though they're living together, he's thinking, this is the one, this is the girl I'm going to marry, mother of my children. Come to find out, she belongs to the streets. So he says, hey, coach, well, this is not really a question, but a somewhat successful story with the wrong kind of woman. You see, I've read your book 10 times in the past 4 years, 10 to 15 times, as I say. And I've been following your content, and I pretty much own the methods you preach. I can gauge consistently the attraction level of my partner at any time and keep my grind and focus on my purpose in STEM while being her rock. STEM stands for, what is it? Science, technology, engineering, and math, I think. I guess I qualify for that because I was an engineer. He says, I met my ex-lady, and I'll get to that soon, 3 years ago, and we hit it off from the first date. We hung out, had fun, hooked up for 2 months before she brought up exclusivity, and so we did because she really knocked my socks off. Sounds like a beautiful beginning to a nice movie. 3 years forward, we're living together and everything is going great. God. I'm still following your content and reading the book and do my best to make her feel heard and understood. Great sex as in the beginning. She's talking about marriage. I'm getting promotions. And I'm saving for the ring. Success story, right? So far, so good. But remember, you can be the best boyfriend in the world. You can follow this stuff to a T. And if you're with a woman who has no integrity, given the right circumstances, she's going to cheat on you. That's who she is. Like the scorpion and the frog analogy. And for those that don't know, I'll just give a quick recap. So there is this long stream. And you get this frog's just kind of swimming out in the pond, swimming around the lilies, looking for a cute girl to hang out with. And then there's a scorpion over the bank. They're like, hey, Mr. Frog, I need a ride to the other side. Let me come over, swim over here. Let me hop on your back and swim me across. He's like, I'm not doing that. You're a scorpion. You'll sting me. He's like, come on. It's like, if I'm riding on your back and I sting you, then you're going to get paralyzed and you're going to sink, and then we're both going to drown. Why would I do that? And the frog goes, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Frog breaststrokes over there. All right, hop on my back, Mr. Scorpion. He's, all right, thanks, Mr. Frog. You're amazing. He's like, no problem. Mr. Frog, at your service here. He's paddling across. All of a sudden, ah! The scorpion stings him. He's like, what'd you do that for? He's like, now we're both going to die. He goes, hey, I'm a scorpion. That's just what I do. It is what it is. Life is not easy. Life in nature is very savage. He says, well, one night we were watching a movie on our laptop and she fell asleep. I noticed that there was a tab open with the cloud storage service. You can just see what's coming, don't you? Oh, so horrible. I was looking at some of our best pictures saved there. Think memory lane. This is great. Can't wait to live happily ever after. We'll have little babies together. It'll be beautiful. Just like in the movies, right? Then I saw something strange. There were lots of intimate pictures of her I have never seen before. All sorts. She's got a side you didn't know about. I found that somewhat odd, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt. But then a picture that sealed the deal. She was naked in bed with someone else in a very explicit position. He says, my heart sank. It's been a shit show since then. I felt betrayed, and I'm not proud of how I handled the breakup. She wants to mend things. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Look how good your game was, and she still did that to you. She still did you dirty. What a dumb bitch. And says it was only one time. Sure. Only the one time that she got caught. And she felt bad about it. Oh, wow. She felt bad about it. Whoosh. Well, I feel all better now. That just solves that problem. She feels bad about it. God. What a heartless bitch. He says, I'm not buying it. I'm moving on as bad as it hurts. Dude, I know it hurts. It sucks. But good for you for having the testicular fortitude to do that. A lot of guys don't. They give her another chance and a third. It's like, man, I've done so many phone sessions over the years with guys that continue to give women like this a chance. And it's just like it keeps happening. And over and every couple of years, every time he's deployed or out for business, she's with another dude. He says, I really thought she was the one. Well, that's part of the problem. There is no such thing as the one. We all have lots of different soulmates. There's not just one. There's many options. He says there were no signs in the book that could help with her deceit. Well, you judge her by what she does. She said she didn't want to tell me because she knew I would break up with her, and she was right. But maybe if she had told me before I saw that picture, I would have accepted to mend things. It wouldn't have mattered. You shouldn't have given her a chance regardless. Once a cheater, always a cheater. If she doesn't keep her word, can't tell me that in 3 years she never did anything and didn't keep her word. There's got to be some tells, some signs she gave away. He says, I just wanted to share my story because sometimes we can be at our best, but when it's with the wrong woman, it will not matter. I've been saying it's in the book. It's in countless videos. Like I said, you can be the best boyfriend, best dude in the world. And if you're with a liar and a cheater, given the right circumstances, I mean, he had no idea this even happened. Supposedly it was just one time. But imagine her keeping all those pictures. If it was just one time and it didn't mean anything, she kept that whole photo gallery of that dude and her. So what does that tell you? You don't really know her as well as you thought you did. He says, I love myself so much and know my worth. I'm not giving her another chance because she broke her vows and promises. Exactly. As Maya Angelou painfully told us all, when someone tells you who they are, shows you who they are, believe them the first time. He says, I love your work. Keep spreading the way of the 3% man. I know I'll find the one soon. Dude, the myth of the one. I did a video years ago called that. There's not the one. Maybe that was part of your problem. You want to put all your eggs in one basket and project your fantasy on her. Oh, this is the perfect girl. You may have ignored some red flags. After the stinging wears off, you'll probably start to notice some inconsistencies in things she's told you, some hints she's dropped, and you go, I chose to ignore that. Happens to all of us because we all project our fantasy of what we want, and we ignore the reality. He says, I'm ready for marriage and kids, just hoping to get the best partner I can get with my same values. Well, this is why it's important to find out what her level of integrity is. If she borrows money from you, does she pay you back? Little things like that. If she says she's going to bring something over and then she doesn't, little things like that. There are tells. There are things to look for. Is she honest no matter what? But it's unusual for her to do that and have this affair and then keep pictures on her computer like that. It just tells me that something ain't right. The juice is not worth the squeeze with this one, unfortunately. And this is the best medicine for you and for her, because she's going to lose probably the best guy she'll ever have in her entire life, because there ain't going to be another dude that's going to come along and treat her the way you did. And she's always going to think about you the rest of her life and think that one night stand, or who knows how many times it went on. I mean, if she was taking pictures with that guy and had a gallery of that dude, it's like he obviously meant more to her than just a one night stand. So anything that she says is suspect. It sucks, man. I feel bad for you, but thank God it happened now instead of when you're married and with kids, and then finding out half your kids aren't your kids. It's like that happens to so many dudes. I got a friend that's like that. It's like, you feel for him, but it happens. But you dodged a bullet, man. And I appreciate you sharing the story, because there's going to be dudes watching that and I'm like, if your spidey senses are telling you something is off, obviously his spidey senses are probably going, he knew he shouldn't have been snooping around in her computer, but he did it anyways. It's, he found out what he didn't want to see, but at least he did. Now you know what you're dealing with. So if you got a question or a challenge and you'd like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.